Noblemen and magistrates, welcome to the philosophical and political pantheon of all things forrest fenn, narrated by the Christian theologian. Got a little snow here in Amarillo late last night, early morning. Pretty cold here, really cold actually. Um, this is going to be a boring rambling, Sometimes I get my drink on, but then I don't. I don't upload the videos because I just feel like they're just not appropriate. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but gonna try to put together a video here. Yeah, I think you know what time it is. Let me brew up a little lemon ginger tea. Just I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, chasing Indy, golly, I've never seen anyone do so much research in my life. I mean, I understand her frustration with some of the people, but like her frustration with Granite Granny, it's not well founded. I mean, I don't know everything. I don't think Granite Granny hasn't done anything wrong. What has he done? I mean, why is she putting him in there with those other people? It doesn't make any sense. But in terms of chasing Indy, the amount of research she does is unbelievable. But let me see here. And then Benjamin's doing research, but I just can't figure out chasing Indy. I've given her the solution, and it ties together with what Fenn told her on Where Warm Waters Halt, and she just is so stubborn. I mean, I think finally she's admitting, and I'll get into it. I think she wants credit for the treasure. I'll get into it a little bit later with her. I guess she was working on a certain area. I forgot the area, but she was saying Marty. She's chasing Indy's finally admitting the chase was compromised. Well, you think? But she's saying, well, Marty, her search partner, Marty, deserves the chest. So that's essentially like saying chasing Indy deserves the chest. So maybe it was about the treasure for Indy. I mean, now she's finally admitting it. So I just think that's kind of funny. But anyway, let me stop this. 1 second. Okay, let me give you a temperature here. 25 degrees feels like 16. I kind of want to do the small talk, but I always get in the habit of, feeling like I have to be professional, even though I'm probably not professional, but like I feel responsibility, for figuring out what's going on. Okay. Now, see the problem, yeah, this is a boring rambling. I'm going to go a little bit in a different direction today, if you will. I could be wrong on all of this, okay? The problem is that Fenn was really associating himself with, one of the most unethical people I've ever seen in my life with his past history. Scrapbook 215 business partner Billy Bob Steve. Okay. But you got to remember here, Fenn, it's on, what's that website, Terry Scant, or it was, or whatever. The quote, Fenn wanted a 1-hour interview with Charles Manson. Okay. And then remember in the quote where Fenn was basically defending school shootings when the kids go crazy. Fenn was basically defending that behavior. So when you add those two things in, and then see, a lot of you don't know. Okay, but like the 2009 2010 stock market collapse was cataclysmic. Like it was people flying out windows. I mean, it was probably the worst collapse in 50 years. Okay? I mean, it was, or close to 50 years. It was, I lost a lot of money, but then I got it back. Okay? But it was March of '09 to be specific. Guys, it was cataclysmic. I mean, it was. See, a lot of you younger people that weren't invested in the market. See, I'm 42 years old, but I've been in the stock market for a while. Okay, so a lot of the younger people like doing these fin videos, like they don't know how bad it was. Okay, a lot of the older people with investments, like they know. Okay, so now, so those two things with Finn that I just mentioned, the Charles Manson 1 hour interview. I mean, and then the other thing, just it's very dark, and I'm thinking, and then remember, Too Far to Walk. Finn had total disdain for a newspaper printing stock market prices. I think Fenn probably had been long retired before '09, 2010. Wait, is that even correct? I don't know. I think so. So I think the 2009 2010 stock market crash, I think it sent Finn over the edge. I think that's a real possibility. It sent him over the edge. And let me stop it one more time. And I think it sent him over the edge, and Finn was like, okay, I gotta get this. Finn was like, I gotta get this money back. How can I get this money back? He had been retired, didn't even work that many years. He probably was being overconfident and risky in the stock market, and he probably lost 70, 80, 90% of his money in '09, 2010. And isn't it ironic that the biggest drop was March of '09, and good possibility he says he hit a treasure summer 2009. Now stop and think about that. Then probably lost at least over half of his money. Okay, so then he's all of a sudden going to go hide a treasure after losing all that money? See, before I was so worried about figuring out the poem and getting the treasure, but I didn't stop and think, what if this is all just a big game? And I'm starting to think that. But it just doesn't make much sense. He said he wanted to give people hope, but I don't think Finn had the money to do that. I don't think he had the money to do that. I put a note, talk about Scrapbook 215 business partner Billy Bob Steve hacking comments. I'm not going to read all the Reddit stuff, and because that would make me sick to my stomach. I mean, his comments and his behavior is literally sickening. But Chasing Andy said, Billy Bob Steve says he would need Finn's 2009 data from Google Earth on Reddit. The Condor. The guy is just, it's like Packer Jack said, everything he does is a life, I guess what you call a life hack. It's true. Everything he does is illegitimate. It is so lewd and sickening. It's just unbelievable. So Billy Bob Steve says he would need Finn's 2009 data from Google Earth. And then, I forgot all of the details. I should have made better notes, but Billy Bob Stoof was stalking Marty. So I guess that was Chasing Andy's search partner. And at Packer Jack, all he does is life hack. That's all he does is scam the system. $4 lobster, free credit card points. I mean, it's just, the guy is just a total fraud. And you got to ask yourself, why is Finn associating with this fraud? I mean, you say you started treasure hunt 2009, 2010. Imagine if it was '09, 2 months after the biggest collapse. And at the time of March of '09, you have no idea. After the fact, you know that the market starts pushing up. But at the time, say 2 months later or 3 months later, June '09, this fin, if it's got a little up move in the market after dropping so much, how does he know that it's not going to continue its downward trend? So how would Fenn have the conviction to go high to treasure? You see what I'm saying? I mean, quotes in Reddit database that Billy Bob Stoof knows what a rat virus is. And then put note 4-hour 47-minute mark. There was a tracker on Fenn's emails. They were going to California, and then I guess going back to Fenn, there was a tracker. Oh, someone did a tracker on the emails that they sent Fenn, and that those emails were going to California. And then I made a note: did Fenn let this happen? Was this all Scrapbook 215 business partners? You know. And I put, you see, the scam only works for Forrest if nobody figures out his poem. That's the way the scam works. So a lot of you that love Forrest, you got to understand, a good chance he lost a lot of money in the market, and he didn't really like any of the searchers. He was desperate to make money. And we were all his competition. That's what a lot of you don't understand, okay? Here's a $1 million question. Do we believe Fenn hid a treasure during the worst stock market recession in 50 plus years? I say no. I'm starting to think that the treasure was never there. You know, I just don't know. But then I put, as the money was coming in from all those books, and Fenn was he made a lot of money on those books. Maybe one of the three was kind of going to a charity, but at least 2 out of 3, he was making good money. I mean, expensive quality books, what I thought were pretty quality books. He wanted to make money on those books. Okay, don't think he didn't, you know. I put, as the money was coming in from all those books and Fenn was making more money in a rising stock market after the market started going back up, he probably felt really guilty, and Scrapbook 215 business partner was a confession before suicide. That's got to repeat all that. As the money was coming in from all those books and Fenn was making more money in a rising stock market, able to reinvest, more money from the books, he probably felt really guilty, and Scrapbook 215 business partners was a confession before suicide. Let me stop it. Now, don't quote me on this, but I'm going off memory, but I put on here, remember Dow said, to all those spammers, trolls, and woofers, I say, fuck you, we made it work in spite of you. See, that sounds like business partners. We made it work in spite of you. Billy Bob Stoof has zero credibility because Fenn said finder gets title to the gold, but there are a lot of subchapter S's to that rule. What was that, November 4th, and then Scrapbook 215 was October 2019, so it's all business partners. Fenn was using everyone to make money on the books. I think this might have been an extremely intricate and elaborate scam. I mean, the timing of when the market collapsed, and then he writes Scrapbook 215 business partners, and he's the most overt with hints in business partners, and Fenn was the one arranging a buyer, okay, and Billy Bob Stoof had to get explicit permission to take the chest still in Santa Fe. Fenn was the one arranging a buyer. I mean, it all screams like, business partners. I mean, the most obvious with hints in that scrapbook. And this is all an intricate an elaborate scam. I think that's what this is. I think that's what this is. Okay, and I don't think this is going away. Okay. There's resources out there that are available to investigate this kind of thing. So I'm not going to talk about those resources, okay? But I don't think this is going away. This is a huge scam. This is a huge scam. In closing, it's all this boring rambling video is that huge drop in the stock market 2009 2010. And think about it if you're forrest fenn. Okay, you're confident, you're probably getting risky with a lot of your investments, and unbelievable in war, did really good in the art business, and really liking the Santa Fe area. And then the market just collapses, and the market just totally collapses, and he lost it. I believe he lost it. What the thrill of the chase, I believe it came out, what was it, 2010? I mean, he was scrambling to make money. He could have lost up to 60, 70, 80 cents on the dollar. I mean, he could have lost most everything. So that's another thing. A lot of, you don't know forrest fenn, his net worth. Number one, prove it. You can't prove it. They come to his defense. He's got all this money. Listen, even if he did, and say he had $1 million, and he lost 80% of that, 85%, then he's got $150,000, $200,000, and he starts freaking out a little bit. Okay? Or say he only had $500,000, and he lost 85%. Okay, now he's got what, $75,000 or something? I mean, you don't know. He could. It doesn't matter the number. Like a lot of you, the younger people, you have no idea how bad that collapse was in 2009, 2010. You have no fucking idea. Okay, so if Fenn did have a huge net worth and he lost 90% or whatever, I mean, what were some of the companies? Lehman's, AIG. I mean, even companies you would think that were safe were not safe. They went bankrupt. Okay, so you don't know how risky he was with his investments. You don't know that. He was complaining about in one of the books about the stock prices wasting trees, being in the newspaper. I mean, I think there is a real possibility that he, those two bizarre quotes, Charles Manson, whatever, he was losing it. He was losing it. He was a war veteran, and he's a war veteran, and he probably had some entitlement. Well, the stock market needs to keep going up. This is the United States, and listen, that's not always how it works. Okay. Oh my God, here's another thought. What if that son of a bitch was on margin? Thank God I never used margin, okay? But what if that son of a bitch was on margin? And then he literally, you're on margin in that 2009 2010 collapse. If he was on margin, he fucking lost everything, and he might have owed money. Oh my God. I had to think about that just now. Margin. A lot of people do that. They buy on margin. You buy with borrowed money, and if it goes the wrong way, you got to sell what you have. So, he's a pilot. He takes risks. We don't know he wasn't buying on margin. Listen, people need to talk more about the collapse of 2009, 2010, and what it did to people. Golly, another phone call coming in. What is this? Okay, let's make sure it's still going. So, sorry, phone call was coming in. People need to talk about the timing of when Fenn allegedly hit a treasure and when the market collapsed. Okay, and then the way this all finishes up, where Fenn's looking like a greedy son of a bitch, you know, with that treasure there in the office. I mean, and no explanation of what happened, where the treasure was. I mean, I think we deserve some answers. You know? So that pretty much wraps it up. If I can think of something else, I will add to it. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you later.